Yeah, because when people say that that running is a form of meditation, I strongly disagree.
Yeah,
Because
me too.
I think running again, it's like it's a movement, it's an act, and meditation is very much about a being, like sitting and being. And running can be like it can be also be another distraction from what's really going on. So yeah.
Ruth Croft, sans doute l'une des 3 meilleures athlètes féminines de trail ces 10 dernières années, tout format confondu, dans le club select des Courtney Dauwalter ou des Katy Scheid. À la différence près que Ruth a déjà 35 ans et débute sa carrière dès 2013-2014 en performant immédiatement en skyrunning et en course en montagne. Souvenons-nous que Ruth remporte la CCC dès 2015 quand même. Ensuite, entre 2017-2019 à peu près, elle accompagne le développement des Golden Trail World Series, est l'une des rares à avoir remporté 2 fois le marathon du Mont Blanc, réalise plusieurs top 5 à Sierzinal ou finit même 3e à Zegama quand même, ou 2e des championnats du monde en 2019. 2021 jusqu'à aujourd'hui, Ruth réussit avec brio le virage de l'Ultra, gagne la Western States, le Tarawera Ultra Trail, mais entre les deux, au carrefour 2019-2020, ce qui est questionnant, intrigant et surtout inspirant chez cette athlète, c'est la façon dont elle a géré la pression, peut-être les exigences qu'elle s'imposait, et qui font qu'aujourd'hui, Ruth infuse une dimension spirituelle, une sérénité, un travail mental et un détachement qui la rend, à mon sens, encore plus dans la maîtrise de ses courses et qui lui ouvre peut-être encore davantage de longévité dans sa pratique. Parmi les athlètes que l'on suit, allez, petite confession, c'est toujours un moment particulier avec Ruth parce qu'elle se fait discrète et qu'il est aussi difficile de rester insensible devant ce regard insondable. On va voir. En tout cas, on aborde le passé, le présent, la suite de sa carrière, mais peut-être davantage son rapport psychique au haut niveau, aux exigences et à la suite. Privilège, cadeau de la retrouver à Annecy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is tea, not wine. I'm Ruth Croft, and I'm a Kiwi trail runner. I run for Adidas Terrex, and we're here in Annecy.
Yes, let's keep it. Ah, so Ruth, it's always a privilege to meet you. So thanks for welcoming me.
No
We
problem.
don't meet together so much, so that would be like that. I'm almost a little bit stressed, but that's okay. So, how do you feel after the UTMB? Just in 3 words.
In 3 words, still pretty tired.
Uh, Congratulations, 3 words. Let's go straight. As I said in the introduction, so I will need my question in English, I'm sorry. I think you've been one of the world's top 3 in all formats, from 40 to K to 100 mile for the last 10 years. And like Courtney or Katie, I really think that. But when I say that, I'm just focused on 2024, on a photography, instant photo. So I really wanted to ask you, can you remember everything since your first day you run? Do you feel you suffered a lot to reach that point between 2013 and 2024? Does it represent a lot of pain, or it was just, okay, this is the process, I'm going to be a runner?
From 2013, I think I had a lot more trouble with running pre 2013. When I was at university in the States, like I had a lot of stress fractures and I had an eating disorder, and so I think that has helped me a lot today. It's helped me because I had to work through a lot of injury, and so it's helped me like refocus what running really means to me. And so I think I've definitely post 2013, though it hasn't been smooth sailing. I think it's easy to look at people's results and think that, oh, it's come easy, but it hasn't. And I think especially as a Kiwi coming over and racing in Europe, it took me a while to kind of figure out how to do it well. Yeah.
So you were unable to race UTMB last year for
Yeah.
health reason.
Yeah.
So maybe that means that year in 2024 you came even more prepared to that race and train. Did you feel you were stronger than last year?
Yeah, definitely. I was in a very different place this year compared to last year. I think last year, in hindsight, I wasn't probably ready for UTMB. I'd had a few like health issues post Western States that lasted for over a year, where my immune system was pretty run down and I kept getting sick. And I thought I'd come through it all by the time of UTMB, but I hadn't, and so I got sick again. And so I think last year as well, I felt really intimidated by UTMB, and then this year I was still intimidated, but I had a lot more like excitement and felt like I was physically in a lot better place.
Yeah, because you didn't look intimidated, but well, maybe you know how to hide your emotion.
Have a good
You're
poker
cold.
face, yeah.
And what would have happened in 2023 with the same preparation you did that year in 2024?
I don't know. I don't think you can think like that. Like, yeah, I didn't make the start line, and so I don't even really think of what could have been. And as I said, I don't know if I would have had a good day or not. Probably the way when I compare how I was last year to this year, I'm in a very different place. Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a stupid question, like trail running fiction. When you crossed the finish line that year, so some weeks ago, do you feel more frustration or pleasure to finish not first but second?
Oh, like Katie had an amazing race. Like she was kind of in a league of her own. And for me, going into the race, it was really not racing any other female. I had a very quite a detailed race plan in way that I wanted to execute the race, and I think I nailed it, like how I wanted it to come to like be. And so I was really happy with how the day went and how it unfolded.
And after all that races and all that years competing, is it still possible to feel some joy and the same emotion when you win a race or only when you win a competition that really motivates you more than all the others? For just, yeah, a simple race, is it still easy to find some joy and some pleasure, or it's just okay when it's the hardest and the biggest goal in the season?
I actually had a lot of fun. Yeah, like it was really, as I said before, it was a very positive race experience. And I think a big part of it was my family from New Zealand was out. And they'd come out last year, and it was their first time in Europe watching me race. And so I think when I couldn't take the start last year, that was the thing I was disappointed about the most, because they'd come all this way. And so, yeah, I had my family over here and then also Martin's family, and that brought both families together. And they had a blast out there, and I would see them having a really good time. And yeah, I just had really good crew and really good support and just enjoyed the day. Didn't have many lows at all. Yeah.
And the emotion when let's imagine that you win a race, doesn't matter any race which race it is, but the emotion is still the same 10 years after when you win a race.
Yeah, for sure. I think UTMB is quite special though, because it's like our biggest stage that we have on the sport, and just yeah, to perform there, I think is pretty special. Yeah.
Yeah, true. You attach great importance to working with your mind, but I can make a mistake, and taking care of it in your daily life, and not especially for sport. But do you see your practice as spirituality? I don't know, maybe I make a mistake, because most people confuse spirituality with religion, as a practice for mental health and general well-being, or what is your relationship with the mental workout?
I think it's a bit of a combination of everything. But for me, it's just, yeah, like I always say, there's a lot of noise in our everyday life. And so through meditation, it allows me to come inwards and really, yeah, try to connect with my inner self, which I think deserves just as much attention as my physical body through training and everything. And so, yeah, like normally once a year I'll go do Vipassana or go do some form of retreat because I think it's important. Like running is, yeah, such a physical act as well, and that gets a lot of attention for most of the year. And so I like to step away from it and spend some time on the mental aspect.
And so you used to practice that each year during several weeks, months?
I'll go and do a 10-day silent retreat once a year normally, and then I try to meditate. It's not every day, but most days.
And you keep your iPod with your playlist during this retreat?
Oh yeah, no,
Sure.
you're definitely not allowed an iPod. Well, you could if you really wanted to, but you'd be defeating the purpose of it. But yeah, there's no cell phones or writing or reading or anything like that.
Oh, no writing, no reading.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
No.
there is a guy called Martin could be happy if there is no reading. I don't know, Martin, he loves to read. A big hug, my Martin. I'd like to come back to the stage you reached after your successes in, let's say, 2019 to 2020. Your early 2015 CCC and your results are impressive. You're following the development of the Golden Trail World Series from 17 to 19, and then the pressure you're feeling or putting on yourself, the demands. And what I found interesting is how you manage to deal with that. It seems to be increasing the pressure. And you told me about your need to slow down at one point. I remember maybe 1 or 2 years before. What happened and when? Do you remember about that gap in 18 or 19 with the pressure and or maybe the self-pressure you put on yourself?
I honestly don't think I put a lot of pressure on myself. I used to when I was in college, when I used to run track and field, and I used to get really, really nervous, and I don't feel I was able to deal with that very well. And then when I went through all my injuries and everything, and then I came back to running later on, I actually just don't get like nervous about it. Like even UTMB, it's pretty ridiculous what we're doing. We're running around a mountain with poles, and it's like I like to think that yeah, you remove yourself from that situation, or like think about it as no one really cares about it. And when also when you are on your deathbed, are you really going to think about this moment or this race? Probably not. And so I just don't get overly nervous or stressed out or anxious about racing because I just think for a big part, it's got to be enjoyed. But at the same time, I'm really competitive. But yeah, it definitely needs to be enjoyable as well.
Yeah, you're true. But you also experienced a certain period of, and once again I speak about these years, 2017, 2018, 2019, especially focused. If I speak about the Golden Trail, with the level was high, but now it's super higher, and you could be an example for some young athletes now competing into that series, for example, and maybe to give some advices, because I don't know if it's easier or harder for them now. Was the level in that years so much lower than now, you think? And did you already have the feeling of an incredible or athletic and competitive density when you were competing into that Golden Trail in that period?
Okay, I think it's definitely across the board, it's just getting a lot more competitive. And I think back then as well, you could show up to races having not really focused on them and still do well. But I think now you really have to plan out your race calendar, and you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to jump in that race and that Golden Trail race. You can't do that anymore. You have to have quite a set or structured race plan. But I think for people young ones getting into Golden Trail, it is very competitive, and of course I think it can take a number of years to break through. So I think it's important that you do Golden Trail, but you also do some other races that aren't so competitive, or are races that motivate you or inspire you because of the location or where they are. Like, you keep the fun element in it. I think then if you just solely focus on Golden Trail, it can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about ultra trail. I think that since 2020-21, your success in the ultra format distance has been like a milestone in your career, in your life. Do you now feel more in tune with yourself in a 100-mile format? Because you still mainly run 80, 100 kilometers, but is there much more connection between that kind of distance and your personality or your conception of running?
Not really. I think the reason I stepped up to ultras was just I wanted like a new goal, different motivation. Like, I'd been doing a lot of the Golden Trail for a number of years, and so it was a lot of the same races. And so the longer distance motivated me because it was something new to figure out. Like this year for UTMB, like, it was a lot of things I had to figure out. And so I think, especially when you have been racing for a long time, you have to keep finding the things that motivate you. Yeah.
Okay, matter of motivation. Just let's go back to that mental approach. When we look at your career, we also see that you hold some records. Does it help you to break some records? I mean, I feel sometimes you can be detached from the race, but I wonder if you are super present, conscious, or super absent during the effort.
Very present.
More than this.
When I'm racing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I'm very present. And especially like now, I don't feel like I race much in the year, especially when you're doing ultras. And normally the races that I do, I'm very motivated by them. And so, yeah, I think also in ultras, you have to be present. Any races, you have to be present. I can't imagine racing and not being present.
Yeah, there are different ways to be present.
Yeah.
Maybe into the intensity or... You think there is a meditative dimension into the way you're running ultra? I'm not making any link with your practice of retreat.
Yeah, because when people say that that running is a form of meditation, I strongly disagree. Because I think running, again, it's like it's a movement, it's an act, and meditation is very much about a being, like sitting and being, and running can be it can be also be another distraction from what's really going on. So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe there is it's a matter of intensity. I don't know, athletic, cerebral, mental. But well, next chapter we'll see. Let's talk about night vision. In 2023, you told me it could be dangerous, especially for the others, at night because I can see very well. I think it was something like this.
Yeah.
What was the hardest thing to manage or learn for this UTMB 24? Did you manage to see something?
Yeah, no, my running at night has got a lot better as well. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's a strong point, but it's not terrible either. But I think the thing for UTMB this year, it was just like the logistics of it, really, like the figuring out nutrition and then also figuring out the whole gear situation as well. Like, I think there's a lot of moving parts.
It was as important as that.
Pardon?
Nutrition, it was really important, that side of the race?
Yeah, well, because I never run for like 23 hours. And so with Western States, it's a very different style of racing. And so I just wasn't sure how like my gut was going to be over that period of time. So obviously I had 101 different food options. And in the end, I could have just done sports nutrition the whole way. But again, going into it, I didn't know that was going to work for the whole race. And so yeah, it's been a lot. Like this year at UTMB, I felt like I learned a lot just about those.
So that means that there were things in nutrition that you dared to experience during the UTMB.
Well, it's like I didn't know if I could do 23 hours with sport nutrition, so I started with real food because that's what I did at Western States. I started with real food and then moved to gels and that. But my gut was fine.
And what kind of real food? Sausage?
I had
beef and things like this?
No, I had some bars, like quite a lot of bars. and yeah, some rice and that sort of thing. Yeah,
Sushi is really fashion, I think.
yeah,
Everybody eats sushi.
yeah,
I should try. But I related you, and I was telling you about my race,
Yeah.
and sushi was impossible. No, there was a
maybe
problem in the
before
logistics.
you threw up, maybe.
But yeah, forget about that topic. Forget about me. One personal remark. I was personally, but I'm getting old, so I'm easily moved. But it's another topic. I was really very, very moved by you and Martin at the finish line. Just Martin is the boyfriend, and also one of the greatest speaker and the speaker of the UTMB. And he was resuming his role as announcer or speaker and leaving his role as companion, boyfriend, and lover, and his role as helper. There was his knee, on the floor, and also his tiredness, and I felt emotion. At that moment, how do you feel? And should you control your emotions? It's like Oprah Winfrey interview,
Yeah. How did I feel at that moment when he was interviewing me? Well, he was asking me if I was gonna come back next year, and I was like, it's too soon for that. I don't know. Yeah, I was definitely emotional at the finish, like with Martin as well, because I think he's been just as invested in UTMB as myself. Like he's helped a lot behind the scenes. So to get to share that together, it was really special. But it's tricky, like having an interview when you've just run 170 kilometers. Like my brain is just not thinking. Like I'm just not functioning right.
I remember your face here.
Yeah. So I was pretty out of it, to be honest.
It was like if you were super relaxed, like this, and okay, answering his question, and the emotions were in another part of yourself. Like,
Yeah.
okay, emotions are here, and we are talking, and maybe next time, but no. Did you manage to share your emotions and your visions and your stories, the story he lived and the story you lived during that race? You managed to share that maybe later after the race, or?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit, but not a lot, to be honest, because we've had my family from New Zealand who've still been here, and then he's just gone to the US for Golden Trail. So I actually feel like we haven't had a moment just to ourselves to really, like decompress or go over UTMB.
What a busy life. Well, finally, isn't being a professional athlete like wearing a mask and something to hide ourselves and never showing your face, because you're still a public character and one who has to show off his strengths, her strengths?
I don't find that. I think what I struggle with a lot is that I'm from New Zealand, and just from my upbringing, we were kind of, especially my dad, we were told to kind of put our head down and work hard and not really bring attention to yourself. And so for me, that has been like quite a big conflict when it comes to social media and that sort of thing. Because, my upbringing was that just put your head down and work hard and not talk about yourself or anything like that. And so that's probably the thing that I've struggled the most with over the years.
Okay. And I'm not saying that you don't show any emotion and you don't have any emotion like a robot. I'm not saying that. Templars again in 2024, or why never like a bourbon trail in La Réunion or a diagonal? Diagonal could be brutal, but maybe you like this. But a bourbon trail, it's 100K.
Oh, you asked why have I done Les Templiers? And
Yeah, first it was Les Templiers.
yeah.
You know that, you won that.
Yeah, I don't know. For me now, I'm just going to shut down the season. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I started at Tarawera in February, and so it's been quite a long year, and I think especially for UTMB it was very focused.
Tarawera. Yeah.
And so now I'm just ready to like step away from running for a bit and have a break and
learn French.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your goal.
The time that I don't spend running I can put towards that now.
Oh, so that leads me to the last question. Your dreams just for 2025. So we can skip it's to be fluent in France,
Yeah.
French, because it's too early. Let's say that. But just a dream for 2025. Just one.
One dream. Like in
A real dream. It's something that could be possible.
in racing, or in running, or
Whatever you
in
want.
life.
I want to have a cat.
Um,
No.
no, I definitely do not want a cat.
Cat. Horrible. Who loves cat?
What's a dream? I actually don't know. I haven't really thought beyond
Okay, let's forget
This year.
25. 2023. 33.
33.
It's later.
A dream. Okay, so at the moment I'm studying naturopathy, and so I eventually want to have my own practice and help athletes, specifically female athletes.
Good.
Yeah.
And 2047?
Oof, I don't know. No, I haven't thought that far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was hesitating, but today I want to be nice. So I'm not going to ask you to make a haka, and I would not say kamate. So just have a nice end of the season
Yeah.
and enjoy as much as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Bye. Bye.
My season's already ended.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
That was